I got some bad news for you.
No.
I know.
Lay it on me.
I know that you are a big fan of a particular figure in Romania.
Oh, huge.
But I'm sorry that I have to be the one to tell you this live on the air.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate's got been arrested.
Don't tell
Andrew
me
Tate,
this.
he's been arrested by Romanian authorities.
I'm gonna have to act just like Aiden Ross when he called Hassan on the phone. Did you see that clip?
No, what?
Aiden called Hassan because apparently Aiden made like 2 videos about it.
Okay.
And in one of them, he titled it something like Trump needs to be president again. And his argument was so that Trump needs to be president because then he would pardon Andrew Tate.
Right.
And basically Aiden's just on the phone, just dumbfounded while Hassan's trying to explain to him that Andrew Tate is not a U.S. citizen, and Trump couldn't pardon him. Biden couldn't pardon him. Nobody but whatever the Romanian pardon process is could pardon him. And it's like, what about Brittany Griner? And then he had to explain what a prisoner swap was.
Like, yeah, that was the other thing I was about to bring up is like the U.S. has no responsibility to this man.
Yeah,
like
nothing
whatsoever.
at all.
There's no reason that we would free him. Like,
it's arguably better for the U.S. that he's in jail.
So if you all don't know what we're talking about, basically, this all started on Twitter, where every great thing does, where every great story begins. And honestly, it was a late submission for craziest thing to happen in 2022. I don't think it would have won.
No,
certainly wouldn't have won. Wouldn't have won the
bracket.
Wouldn't have won an award on our show, at least. But still was a crazy thing. Basically, Andrew Tate, out of nowhere, just like attacked Greta Thunberg, right? The 19-year-old climate activist from Sweden, I think?
Something like
Poland?
that.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere in Eastern Europe. You know what I'm talking about.
What?
And so he attacked her. He's basically saying, like, here are my Bugattis. They all emit, X amount of carbon into the air. Climate change isn't real, blah, 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 blah. And then Greta Thunberg responded, because then he was like, let me email you all of, like, the details about how harmful my life is to the environment. Fucking whatever. He's being a poster.
If climate doesn't change when I turn on my Bugatti,
right.
If all the carbon doesn't make it start raining right there,
and then
what's going on?
Greta Thunberg responds with, like, yes, please send me this information and then she had an email, and it was, I have small dick energy at getalife.com, right?
Did she really say that?
That was, yeah.
What?
You didn't see this?
No.
That was her response, was like, yes, please send me the information. I have small dick energy at getalife.com.
What?
That's how she responded to Andrew Tate. And to me, like, I thought it was funny, but honestly, it's not that crazy of a burn, right? Like,
no, it's easy mid burn,
right?
Dare
like,
I say. It's more
straight out of 2015.
Yeah, it's more the context of the burn that's got me like, what? Greta Thunberg? Like,
yeah, she went in like that.
That's nuts.
Yeah, she went in like that. And, I thought it wasn't that crazy of a burn, something, that anybody really could have come up with, but it really got to Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Because he then posted a 2-minute video of him. He starts off smoking a cigar, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, got to put carbon into the air because he's a fucking idiot.
Real.
And then he's talking about like how Greta Thunberg responded, and it took him like 10 hours to come up with this response. This was posted like 10 hours later.
Okay.
And he's like he's like, Greta Thunberg responded with her email. And it's, I have small dick energy. Why would that be her email?
Why would you have a dick? Why would you talk about having a dick?
That was the thing he was doing. And it's like, okay, this is tiny brain.
You're in 7th grade.
Yeah. And then he was like talking about how, or then he was like, bring me over my pizza and make sure to not recycle these boxes. And then somebody off camera brings him 2 pizza boxes, and you can see where it's from.
Yeah, the chain.
Turns out he was in Romania because he got it from a Romanian pizza shop. And that's how Romanian authorities figured out that he was in the country. And they, I guess, had some type of warrant out for his arrest because they had some kind of charge about human trafficking. So they came and arrested him because they realized, based off that video, the video response to Greta Thunberg, that he was in the country, which prompted them to then investigate and go arrest him and his brother, Tristan Tate.
Bro posted his way to prison.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
Like, people had been predicting this for a while, that Andrew Tate would eventually post his way into a jail cell. And I am usually cynical about that kind of stuff. I usually feel like bad people won't have bad things happen to them just because that's the world we live in. We reward bad people for doing bad things. But I was happy to see that Andrew Tate got thrown into a prison cell.
Arrested for human trafficking, mind you. Like, formally charged, like human trafficking.
I don't know if he's been fully charged yet.
Not fully charged,
he's
but
been
that's
held in
what's
jail.
like on the warrant, right? It's like something about human trafficking.
And it's, I mean, I don't know the laws out of Romania.
True.
It could
not
be
a
different.
Romanian law expert here.
But, it's hard to tell if he's going to get a conviction. I'd be surprised if he does. He's extremely wealthy. and he's like a social media influencer. Like he's got a ton of influence. I doubt he's going to get convicted.
The dick riding again has been crazy though.
Oh yeah.
Like on the day it happened, I saw a bunch of like pages on Instagram, and the comments were just vile. I saw this one dude say, "Man, I really hope this is just another one of his false allegations levied against him." And I'm like, "Dog, false?
False?
This is all one long. He's just fled countries because of these allegations."
When he had his little like 5-minute debate with Hassan, when Hassan was using like the biggest kid gloves possible, Hassan was literally like, "Yeah, you fled Romania to avoid charges. Like that's why you were in the UK, because if you stepped foot in Romania, you would go to jail." And that's exactly what happened. And his brother was there with him, and some of the arresting officers on the scene were women. Getting arrested by a woman? That's not top G behavior.
No.
It's not top G behavior.
No.
My favorite take, though, out of all of this is that this is some plot to silence Andrew Tate because he was onto something. Because
like as Voltaire said,
right,
you
exactly.
know what I'm saying? Women, they run the world because you can't criticize them.
Right, and it's, Andrew Tate's always on about this like traditional masculinity shit. You got to be really strong. You got to have a lot of money to spend it on things that men will be impressed by or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And his take has always been like, we live in the Matrix. I keep running my mouth, and they might take me out for running my mouth, right? And all of his defenders lately have been on about shit like, oh, they silenced him because he was speaking the truth.
Yeah.
But the thing there is like, one, he's being arrested for human trafficking. And two, if I go and murder somebody and then just start saying some insane shit and then say, if I get arrested, then it's because I'm saying this stuff and not because I murdered somebody, that doesn't mean I didn't murder somebody.
Absolutely.
Like, come on now.
And it's like, that's all jumping so far ahead of the gun here. Because you're a fan of Andrew Tate because of his political takes?
Right.
No, you're a fan on Andrew Tate because he lives a lifestyle that you think that you want. He lives like the lavish, like alpha male, top G lifestyle with the Bugattis and all the women and all that. He lives that, and he's a misogynist. Like he says the bad things about women that regular people know are bad, but you don't because you're 15. Like that's why you're fans of Andrew Tate. You're not a fan of him because he says, "Well, I think that both sides of the aisle are corrupt."
Oh yeah, that's the other thing is like he's always talking about how everything is corrupt, every system is corrupt, every way of making money is corrupt, the entire system is the Matrix or whatever. But then his advice is to be a cog in the machine. Yeah, work hard in the system that you are saying is corrupt. Like it's silly. It's completely silly. And I mean, everyone's known this. Everyone said this about Andrew Tate, but like he doesn't. Everything he says is a fucking lie.
He's not a coherent thing, not a good thing coming out of that guy's mouth.
I will say though, Tristan Tate looks more like a top G than Andrew Tate does. He's got hair. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Tristan Tate's got hair, and he's not always running his mouth. He's probably equally bad, maybe worse.
Real. Honestly, I'd argue that he's worse just based on the fact that he's like, just his proximity to Andrew Tate without being able to like launch his own brand yet. Like he's dick riding his own brother.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they do though.
He's got no legs to stand on his own.
That's a good point. And did you see Asmongold, streamer? He had a take that he walked back afterwards because everyone gave him flack. So we're kind of participating in the dogpiling here. But he said something like MLK was also targeted by authorities.
No, he did
just
not.
Like Andrew Tate, something along those lines.
What?
Martin Luther King also was like undermined by the authorities for what he was saying. And it's like, brother, MLK was a civil rights activist.
So was the Unabomber. Ted Cruz, the Zodiac killer, was undermined by authorities.
It's this totally one-dimensional viewing or perspective of what criminal justice is. Like, yes, sometimes the criminal justice system is weaponized against people that actually challenge the system. Yeah. Other times, it's used against people actually committing crimes. And you have to have evidence to suggest that people that are being targeted unjustly are being targeted unjustly. And we know Martin Luther King was.
It's not just the targeting. Oh my, that's a vile take.
Yeah, he walked it back though. He said like, this is a stupid thing to say. I shouldn't have said it. So he cleared the air with that.
Yeah, he cleared the air. Fine, whatever. Like I'm not mad. I'm just trying to like think of like what's going on in your head that makes you think to like spit that? Like what could the content, like what was he thinking he was saying?
I don't know. It's just, like these kinds of talking points, like they're trying to silence us or the Matrix is coming after us. It's always used to defend the most evil people imaginable. Yeah. And the amount of right wingers I've seen come to Andrew Tate's defense saying like it's just him being like canceled or whatever is fucking crazy. Because he's in Romania. Like I don't. How is U.S. cancel culture getting to him? I mean, because the context is that it's like, the woke mind virus, the Jewish mob is like taking control and getting rid of him. That's the subtext, right?
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me how they're defending him. I love it.
That's so good. That's so good. What a week.
Yeah, what a week. Late submission. Buzzer beater, didn't sink it though. Sorry, Greta.
Shout out, Greta.
Sorry, Greta. Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. Look, new year, same old us. Ringing in
2023 with a brand new episode of Head in the Office.
That's right.
With some, with ringing in the new year with some old stories, mind you.
Oh yeah,
these things haven't happened since last year. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's absolutely right. All of our stories are old news.
Old news.
But we got to cover it because I know that you guys care about it.
Exactly. One last podcast to go out with the old and in with the new.
And the new might be just as bad, maybe worse. But we'll be here to cover it all the same.
True. We got to look forward later on in the show.
We're not changing.
Look forward to that.
Usually people ask around this time, around the end of the year, the beginning of the new year, what have you learned? Nothing.
Nothing.
I've absolutely learned not a single thing. And, I don't plan to learn anything. I think I know everything I need to know, and we'll go from there.
True.
I'm a young businessman.
I think I'm the standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I should probably.
I am the standard for knowledge.
Yeah.
Morality.
I should probably set curriculums for kids. That should probably be me doing that.
Yeah, I should reset Common Core.
True. Anyway, I'm going to remind you all, as always, check out the Patreon. Get us up to 600. That's our goal right now. If you can get us there, that'd be pretty cool. We've got new patrons recently, so welcome if you're getting early access to episodes on January 1st. Pretty exciting. Also, check out our YouTube. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that up.
Exactly.
We're getting very close to that. And follow us on all the socials. You already know.
Partying super hard last night and woke up at 6 o'clock when we finally post it. This can be the first thing you do in the new year.
Exactly. Could be.
That's crazy.
We'd be honored.
If you're one of our wonderful patrons that we'll read off at the end of the show, $10 and up patrons, you know what I'm saying? And you were like, oh my God, last year I really wish I could have done something special with Head in the Office for New Year's Eve. You know what I'm saying? Just get yourself on the list now.
That's right.
So that when 2024 comes around, you can watch the last episode of the year, right? And as the patron list is coming around, you can see okay, that's the timestamp where my name is set. Start playing that, bam. Oh my God, it's 2024 and Jeremy says your name.
That would be cute.
Crazy.
That would be so cute. That would be really
crazy.
Cute.
I think that's the top benefit.
Look, we're heading into the new year. Yeah. We've got lots of stuff planned. We're going to have guests on the pod. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff, maybe community game nights, movie nights in the Discord. Look, we've got tons of stuff planned, and you'll want to be there for all of it. And I'm just saying, check it all out.
Wouldn't want to
check it all out.
Just like how we would not want to miss any of these 5-star reviews.
That's absolutely right. We got some 5-star reviews to read off. As always, if you go and leave a 5-star review on Apple, we will read it on the show. Or alternatively, if you can't go to Apple for whatever reason, we won't judge. If you listen on Spotify, have an Android, whatever.
I guess you can drop it on Instagram.
You can send it to Instagram. You can DM us on Patreon. Whatever method you prefer. But we got 2 from Apple, 2 from Instagram, I think.
3 from Instagram.
Oh, what are your 5
1 from
reviews
Canada.
Today? We'll get these Apple ones first. So this one is from Ryder Solikowski, I think. Subject line, I love Hiddo, but it's actually Lobe, L-O-B-E. Might be a typo. They said this podcast goes so hard. Hiddo. So hard, in fact, I've been inclined to join the war on the woke mind virus on the side of the woke mind virus. I love you guys, parentheses, in a non-sexual way.
Man,
kind of disappointing
again.
Yeah,
friend-zoned again in the review. This is just, I come here to escape.
This is what the woke mind virus does to people.
Wow.
It makes men feminine and it makes women masculine. And those are the only 2 options because it is a binary.
Exactly.
By the way.
Precisely.
But I will say that we're also infected with the woke mind virus. So welcome to the team. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to the resistance.
I guess.
The next one we have here is from Wisco Daddy. Subject line, great pod for radicalizing your family. They say, not going to lie, I was a little hesitant to listen to a political podcast that showcases the opinions of 2 white dudes, but I was pleasantly surprised by their humor, knowledge, and inclusivity. Gage and progressive icon Freddie Benson.
Hell yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Hell yeah.
Have you had someone on the pod recently that I don't know about?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I'm sorry, Jeremy. I've actually been pushing you out.
Progressive icon Freddie Benson are truly doing the most as they radicalize Democrats one by one, and conservatives, I hope, not just Democrats. We're an inclusive pod around here, as you said.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to have a willingness to learn and grow alongside their listeners, which is refreshing. As an art therapy and clinical mental health graduate student, I applaud their courage and willingness to openly discuss their personal mental health from time to time, and I appreciate their critique of the larger, I think it's supposed to be system at the end. So thank you for that review. We love you very much. So now it's time to read off our little Instagram reviews.
I think the little end got cut off there.
Oh, did it? What's the end? What's the end say?
Yeah. Oh goodness, I lost my spot. Appreciate their critique of the larger structures that negatively impact the mental health of U.S. citizens. We are all just trying to survive in this dumpster fire of a capitalistic society. Bars. And this podcast gives me hope that our generations will be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, nice. I don't know why it cut off for me. It just went invisible. That's the Apple product
That's
nonsense.
Some pish
you know what I'm
posh
saying?
right there.
Time for some Instagram ones, though. You got it?
I'll kick it off. We'll start this one off with one of our neighbors up north. Okay. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm not convinced Canada is real.
Neither.
But whatever you say.
Whatever. 5 stars. I'm from Canada, and I love your show. As someone who cannot stand American news, your podcast is my way to stay alert about our dystopian neighbors. Life looks awful out there. I'm sorry. But I'm really happy y'all have legal weed in most states. And on my side, I recommend your podcast to all my leftist friends that want to learn English. I'm from Quebec.
Oh, my God.
I'm sending a bunch of love. I love your show.
Well, I'm glad you love the show, but I'm sorry you're from Quebec.
I am.
Praying for you, for real.
In French.
Imagine being French is already bad enough. Trust me, I know.
And then imagine being like fake French.
French Canadian, bro?
Diet French. That's
I'm so
awful.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
Also, is weed even legal in most states? Is it more than like half now? I don't even know.
I wouldn't expect a Canuck to know.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Average leftist, not knowing your facts. Yeah.
You know what? You take the next one, and then I'll save this one for last.
All right, I got the next one from Renee from Instagram. They say, I visited my friend and forced her to listen to this podcast for an entire 5-hour road trip, and she loved it. Plus, we listened to the award show right as it dropped. 10 out of 10 episode, by the way.
Hito on the road trip is crazy.
Hito on the road trip
is absolutely crazy.
Also, little aside about an award show, right? So Ben Shapiro stole our whole flow. He also did an award show. Oh
my God.
And it was just him doing it, and he stole the fit as well. He had a little bow tie and a black suit and shit like that. So it was bad. I watched some of the clips, and he was doing a similar thing that we were, worst take, craziest moment, biggest downfall, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And almost all of the bad awards, almost all of them were to black people. It's crazy. It was Ketanji Brown Jackson. It was Kanye West. To be fair, Kanye West earned it.
Yeah, real.
It was to there was one to what's her name from Georgia, Stacey Abrams. Yep. Like it was just all in Whoopi Goldberg. Like it was just all
Whoopi
black
Goldberg.
people.
What did she even do this year?
I don't know, but Ben's just like, this year, 2022, not the year for black people.
Like you could have found a worse liberal.
The Biden's press secretary. I can't remember her name. Jean Pierre or something.
Yeah, it's something. Probably also
French. A black woman. Ben Shapiro just said this year not good for black people. That's what Ben said, not my words.
Crazy.
But
that's crazy.
I thought that was something insane we had to mention since he stole our fucking flow. Anyway, finishing this review now. We both love your guys' delivery, and you pick up our arguments in a very comprehensive way. Leftist takes in a more palatable format is something that people have needed for a long time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, Renee from Instagram.
Real out here radicalizing your friends, strapping your friend down like Clockwork Orange.
That's right. No, literally
making them watch Hito,
strapping them down,
making them listen on a
road trip on a 5-hour.
What's he gonna do? Jump out the car?
Yeah, you can't.
Come on now.
Hey, listen, that's at least 4 episodes. The 4 most recent. That's pretty good content.
That's all of December right
there.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all of December.
You can get December's news on a 5-hour road trip. That's it, though. Last one?
Last one.
All right, bet.
Review from Lunar Plague, also on Instagram. Title, I have a chronic Hito addiction. Hello, boys. I'm a listener from this summer, but have listened to every single episode at work, and some episodes 2 or 3 times. But I do remember you guys mentioning in the earlier episodes, this has got to be real early, that we can send in would you rather questions. I swear I haven't dropped that in like a year. Through the reviews, so here you go.
Oh, no. God, I'm scared to know what it is. I haven't read this one yet.
Would you rather sit on a cake and eat dick?
Whoa.
Or sit on a dick and eat cake?
Oh my God. All right.
You cannot abstain from this. Anyways, Happy New Year's, boys. Keep up the work.
Okay.
I'm going to let you take this one away.
This is a tough one. Okay, I got to choose first. Let's see. I think sit on a dick or eat cake, or sit on a cake and eat dick. I think I got to go with the second one. Because
I think I'd have to go with the second one too.
I don't think I could do that
Absolutely.
to myself. Both are bad options. Mind you, I don't want either.
Yeah.
Not to shame anyone that does, to be honest. But I'd have to go with the second one. I don't think I could sit on it.
I'd have to go with the second one because there's no like stipulations here, right? Sitting on a cake, nothing's gonna happen. Eating dick, you can't necessarily get around sitting on a dick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't necessarily get actually.
Hey yo. What are you thinking of, bro? Go ahead.
Come on now, because let's break it down though. let's
axiomatically
let's break it down. Come on now, it's sitting on a dick. Does that imply penetration?
I would think. I guess it depends. I guess the world is whatever you make it, so decide for yourself. I don't know.
I'm going to say if that doesn't imply penetration, then sit on a dick.
Oh,
However, if it does, then I'm going to have to go with the eat a dick.
You heard it here first, folks. Gage wants to sit on a dick.
You can chop it up, you can cook it, you can do so many other things.
Gage was so excited for this Would You Rather. He said he wants to do both at the same time.
Whoa now.
Anyway, thank you all for the reviews. Keep those coming. We love to see the reviews. We're at like over 150 a year and a half into this shit, so we love you guys.
Absolutely.
And when we make it big, we're not going to forget about Lunar Plague. We're not going to forget about our friends from Canada, although we'll try.
I will.
We won't forget about Renee from Instagram.
Oh, I will.
You're going to forget?
I'm going to forget.
I'm going to
wake up. I'm wake up and act like I don't know nobody.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
Getting into the news, though, we got to talk about an omnibus bill. This was a piece of legislation news that we had missed. I think it was 2 weeks ago, or it passed, or Biden formally signed it into law last week.
Is this the one that people were freaking out about because it had a bunch of money for Ukraine?
Yeah. Well, it had money for Ukraine and a bunch of other stuff that conservatives didn't like. But this is one that Biden signed into law last Thursday, and we didn't end up covering it because we had other end of the year news, and then we had the award show where we didn't really cover any news stories at all. But we're covering it now. That's all that matters. So what you need to know is that this is a $1.7 trillion spending bill to set the government's budget for the next year. This isn't anything crazy. Like, it's not a new piece, a new program. It's nothing that's going to like completely
just like funding existing programs.
Yeah, exactly. It's funding existing programs that are discretionary spending. So things that need to be set year by year. It doesn't include things like entitlements like Social Security or Medicare that always get funding no matter what. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of built into the law. This is stuff that Congress has to decide how much they're going to spend.
Discretionary
Otherwise, those programs just end. Yeah, exactly. And as it suggests, it's a enormous bill. It's an omnibus bill, does quite a bit. Overall, $858 billion of it is for defense, so more than half.
Word.
That's a lot of fun. And then $787 billion is for other discretionary programs.
You know, record high defense budget yet again. We just keep smashing those glass ceilings. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the defense budget went up again. I don't remember by how much. And then the discretionary spending, I saw people touting this as like a success because it's up like 7% from last year. And some Democrats, some more moderate people were saying like, this is such a big jump, a big step forward. Everyone should be very happy with this. And it's like, brother, we're spending an insane amount of money on defense, like more money on defense than all other discretionary programs.
That's fucking crazy. Literally every single other one. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, it's more than half of it on defense, and that's more than every other program that we're giving money to in this omnibus bill. Combined. And we're still spending more than the next several countries combined. The biggest of which is China, and we're spending 4 times what they spend on their military.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they have 1/7 of the world's fucking population. Yeah, I mean, we could go on for days about how stupid that is, but I wouldn't tout this as a victory. We're a country, we have to fund things, and I guess one of those things is an enormous military that will kill children overseas. So that's a lot of fun. I feel very protected. But there's also a lot of other stuff included that we should go through. This is from, I think most of this is from the other half, not the defense spending. Okay. So there was within the bill, there's an overhaul of the electoral vote counting law, which I think we talked about on the show. All it does is clarify the VP's role so that the VP is clearly in the law, cannot overturn election results.
Cool.
This is something that moderate Democrats and moderate Republicans have been working on because Trump tried to get Mike Pence to overturn the election because apparently it was kind of vague what the vice presidential role is in counting electoral votes.
Probably called it something corny like the Pence bill because he stood up for democracy.
Yeah, because he didn't overturn an election.
He didn't do it. He stood up.
This is fine. It's fine that they passed this. I don't think it'll make much of a difference because overturning elections is already illegal.
Yeah.
I don't know that one more law is going to matter.
It's like in the same lane as the January 6th committee stuff.
Right. Yeah. Similar. Especially, and we'll get to this in just a second because some of that's in here too. But because no real, I don't know, consequences have come out for actual leaders in the January 6th stuff, I'm talking actual Republicans with positions of power, because nothing has happened to them. I mean, these tiny little rule changes in terms of how our elections are run doesn't do anything because they don't care about the rules, clearly.
Yeah. And all these are... The only people that are kind of appeased by this are, again, moderate Democrats and guys like Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Who are yeah, I did something. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Speaking of January 6th, though, there was $2.6 billion for U.S. attorneys that are prosecuting January 6th rioters. And a quick aside, rip to Libs on TikTok. Because she revealed her face, and it turns out she was at the January 6th insurrection. So maybe she'll end up going to jail.
Posting to prison.
Yeah, they can't help themselves. And then
Clout chasing your way into jail.
There was also $11.3 billion to go to the FBI for investigating domestic terrorism, which I'm gonna assume has more to do with right-wing domestic terrorism than it does like Antifa.
I think so, because they did a thing last year where they announced that that's what they were like focusing on.
Yeah.
Or no, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago under Trump.
Under Trump, that the FBI published that it's right-wing domestic terrorism that posed the greatest threat at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody freaked out about it.
Well, yeah, and that's absolutely true. And we've talked about the FBI before. It's a status quo organization. They're going to target whoever's disrupting the status quo. It's not left-wing movements anymore because they've been destroyed by the FBI.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Now it's right-wing movements because right-wing movements threaten to, overturn democracy itself, or what form of democracy we do have. There's also in the bill various reforms and funding for Medicare programs, Medicaid programs, retirement plans, and new workplace regulations for pregnant workers. These really don't include a ton. It's like it's interesting because it's like more break time for pregnant workers, and they can't be punished if they need to like take time off to deal with being pregnant. But my critique here obviously is, why are they working anyway?
No, literally, it's like
that doesn't make sense.
Even with like more break time, like what kind of breaks though?
Yeah.
Are these like a paid 15-minute break, or is it like, no, actually you're just working less during the day, so you're getting less money?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it was. I didn't see it anywhere that it was a paid break. I would just assume that it isn't.
Real.
And I'm surprised that this even got included, because it is sort of an intervention in the free market and what private businesses are able to do, because it applies to private businesses as well. But it's like, why are pregnant women working at all? Shouldn't we, if we care about families and children in this country, be prioritizing pregnant women being able to rest so they can be healthy and pregnant at the same time?
Well, Jeremy, pregnant women shouldn't be working because they shouldn't be in the workplace in the first place.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Exactly, because we all want to go back to when they couldn't get credit cards.
Well, women shouldn't be able to make their own money.
Exactly.
Because then they have the freedom to escape the grasp of the men.
Because hear me out. Like paid maternity leave. You sound like a socialist.
Yeah, exactly.
You sound like a socialist. Instead, they should be home while the husband is at work.
Yeah, no paid maternity leave. You are barred from getting a job.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you see things how they are.
Even though you could not survive on one income nowadays. Absolutely
me
not.
The Andrew Tate fan.
Yeah, exactly. The tater tot over here. There's also more money for Pell Grants for college students, but don't hold your breath. It's only $500 more.
Oh, let's go. That's a book.
No, it's not. Maybe one textbook if you're in like a science major. Maybe one.
That's a book.
But you can't do much with $500 extra in your Pell Grant. There's an additional $132 million for Capitol Police, which puts the total over $700 million for the Capitol Police. But defund the police is happening for the Democrats, of course. There's some extra funding for homelessness and child malnutrition programs, and a fun one that I thought we should include because it directly impacts us. No more TikTok on federal phones.
No, how are we gonna get into all the FBI agents' heads?
We're not gonna get those corny videos where it's someone working. Well, at the time it was Jen Psaki, but now it's the new press secretary. We're not gonna get the corny videos where it's them working for some like White House official and they're like a day in the life of Jen Psaki or whatever.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, that was sad.
I remember when that popped up.
Yeah, it was conservatives did not like that one.
Oh, absolutely not. It wasn't even like, it was just like a regular video too. Yeah. It's the crazy part, but them bitching and moaning.
Yeah. Obviously, probably not I doubt we're on federal phones anyway.
How am I supposed to get like such a large reach that I end up on Joe Biden's phone?
That would be gas.
Joe Biden scrolling on TikTok in the Oval Office when he's supposed to be signing papers and then bam.
You think Joe Biden, he likes to say he's like an average working class dude from Scranton, right?
Yeah.
You think that just like me, when he's doing his work, he gets distracted and then just goes on TikTok for like too long?
Oh, has to.
Like every 5 minutes, he's like, I need a break. So he just scrolls on TikTok, sees a couple head in the office video, likes and follows.
Like, holy shit, let's go. I'll give these guys a chance, Jack.
He comments and then we're like, hey, Joe, you could mention us in your next presidential address.
True. Boost us a little bit.
But now that's not possible.
Man.
So it's never going to happen. And I bring this up because, of course, it's not like a total TikTok ban like across the country, but it seems like things are heading that way.
Yeah, it's funny because the downstream effects of this, not even like downstream policy wise, but downstream like average everyday people wise, is some dad who watches Fox News too much, which to be fair is like any Fox News. He's gonna see this and he's gonna immediately ban TikTok from like his daughter's phone.
Oh yeah,
he's immediately gonna make him delete it.
The thing is, like, the whole argument against TikTok is that it steals your data, right? And it's owned by it's owned by the CCP. It's owned by a Chinese company, which, the CCP heavily regulates. So the argument is that, the Chinese government is getting data that could be important for U.S. security, have implications, that kind of thing.
So it's like, I kind of get it, but
literally every U.S. company, every social media company on the planet, their business model is stealing data.
Yeah.
That's how they make
any
money.
Free thing on the planet is stealing data.
Yeah.
If it's free, they're selling your data. Like, this is very common.
Facebook does it. Instagram does it. Snapchat does it.
Robinhood does it.
Literally every app that is free is stealing your data and selling it in some way.
Yeah.
But that is completely unregulated. And it's interesting to see that the only time we retaliate against that kind of behavior is when it has national security implications. Not that we shouldn't lock down national security, but at the same time, it's like, why are you not dealing with it in other cases? And that's not great, because if TikTok does get obliterated one day, if it gets its ass cheeks clapped and we don't have it anymore, that's tough for people like us.
That is tough.
Because that is the main way
that's
that
how
we
I
get
market.
people interested.
That's how we market.
Yeah, because TikTok is really good for that.
Even speaking that, just because the TikTok thing's been going on for like, I want to say a little over a year now, maybe even 2 years. That right wingers have been going nuts about deleting TikTok. I've had people tell me like, hey, maybe you should get TikTok off your phone, just not knowing. It's like, dog, I literally cannot.
Yeah,
that's my livelihood at this point.
Yeah, and I doubt that it's stealing your data any more than other social media sites are.
Facebook has got it. Twitter is probably stealing way more data. All I'm gonna say, I don't think Pornhub links out to TikTok. All I'm gonna say is Ted Cruz isn't gonna accidentally share stepmom porn on 9/11 on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, I mean, Pornhub probably has better business ethics than Twitter does. That's all I'm saying. They probably don't share your data. They probably value privacy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just interesting to see that. And I can't tell the future, so I don't know if TikTok's gonna ever get completely removed in the United States, banned totally. I can imagine that it might. I'd say it's like a 50-50 chance at this point, but I guess we'll see. Because conservatives don't like it, and Democrats that are more hawkish on people around the world also probably don't like it and vote for a ban as well.
Over like George Washington College, like national security majors do not like it.
Yeah, no,
not
exactly.
national security majors. You know what I'm talking
International
about.
relations,
international
IR.
something. Yeah, IR heads.
Anyway, what's not included in the bill?
Okay.
2 specific things I have here from the article I was reading. 1, no child tax credit. Again, this is the second year in a row we haven't gotten it renewed.
Nice.
For those of you that forgot, this was the just extra cash that families in need would get. Families that were below a certain threshold, and then once you pass the threshold, it would like peter off the higher up in wages you went. And I think in total is something like $3,000 a year, somewhere thereabouts.
Like $300 a month for each kid.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. $300 a month for each kid.
If they were under a certain age, and then I think if they were over a certain age but still under 18, it was a little bit less.
We've talked about this quite a bit already, and we have the statistics back in older episodes, but it was transformative for like child poverty rates.
Oh yeah, as soon as Joe Manchin got rid of the child tax credit in the last big bill, Build Back Better, child poverty skyrocketed, I believe 20% overnight.
Yeah, something like that. Because I mean, it's an extra few $100s, and that makes the difference between like putting food on the table.
Yeah.
And being able to fill up your card, take your kids to school, that kind of thing. It was huge for families for the year that it was in place. I think all of 2021.
Yeah.
And now it's not getting renewed again, even though it was like genuinely one of the best programs we've seen come out of the Biden administration. Huge.
Amazing.
Huge.
Almost strictly had good things. Everybody liked it pretty much, except for, I guess, hogs.
Well, yeah, I remember my mom got one of like the $300 payments throughout 2021 because I have a younger sister, and when she got it, she was so confused because she was like, "There's no way they don't like fuck me on taxes on the back end." And obviously it didn't. Like that wasn't the purpose. Was literally just giving people money.
Credit. Like you're chilling,
right? But just the fact that people were like, "I'm gonna get screwed on this," shows that people really do not trust the government. And the one thing they do, just an unequivocally good thing for people in need. It's just, I don't know. It's questioned and then completely gotten away with because it is really good.
It's also just like the game that they play with
Yeah.
just people's livelihoods here, where it's like finally they have something that's got just, no strings attached to it. This is just basically free money that you get to help support your child because you need it, because you are under this whatever level of income.
Yeah.
So we're giving this to help you out, no strings attached. They think that something's going to be wrong, and then it just gets taken away. Like, that's a mental game you're playing with people that's just going to continue them to distrust the government. But again, that's what conservatives want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's not just conservatives, because it's some Democrats that came out against this as well, specifically Joe Manchin. But I'm sure others were like glad that he voted it down so that they didn't have to take a no vote on it. But it's like, it helps with material vulnerability for just a little bit, and not even that much, but just allows families a little bit of breathing room, and it's immediately axed. And I don't know like what justification in terms of like the capitalist environment there is for doing this, other than you just want people to suffer, because it's not like this is going to give people enough money to stop working their minimum wage jobs. Yeah. You know, like they're still going to have to do that. It's literally just helping people a little bit so that they don't have to suffer as much. But even that is too much for them to handle.
Yeah, it's like there doesn't even have to be a justification within capitalism for it. All you really need is just Republicans who want to maintain power using one of their favorite tactics of, oh, let's gut this program. Let's tell people government doesn't work. Gut this program so that government cannot work.
Yeah.
And then point to it and say, see?
And then the GOP Twitter account tweets that like 40% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Under the Biden administration, child poverty went up 20%.
That's your fault, brother. You are doing this. Like you are making the problem worse.
You actively had a role in this.
It's tough. So that didn't get renewed. But there's also another thing. There was a potential amendment to include the Afghan Adjustment Act, which was a bill that was going to give Afghan evacuees that helped us during the Afghanistan pullout. Yeah. It was going to give them a path to citizenship since their temporary residence runs out in 2023 and they face deportation. Well, that didn't pass.
Deportation back to Afghanistan.
I don't know where. Yeah, I guess it's going to send them back to Afghanistan.
Where else?
But it's people that helped us get out that are here now.
People that are now enemies of that state.
And I guess they're just not gonna get the help they need. Normal America moment right there. In total, the bill was 4,155 pages. And the vote was 68 to 29 in the Senate, all Republicans voting against, and 225 to 201 in the House, again, all Republicans in opposition. But some Republican votes obviously switched over because they broke the filibuster in the Senate and got a few extra in the House. But that's the latest big bill to come out of Congress, and that might be the last big bill that we see for a while.
Damn, that's crazy.
So, yeah, not great, huh?
That's crazy. That last one there, that's just, whew.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
That's a doozy.
It's just straight up evil. Sure. Straight up evil. Anyone who voted no on that is just evil. Crazy. But now we're moving on to a little bit of Beyond Parody. A little bit of a Beyond Parody section.
A bit of whimsy to start off the new year.
Because I got a guy named George Santos who, just like you for real, because he is a big liar. He loves lying. He loves deceiving. And he's been called on it. Because George Santos, he was running in the 2022 elections. He won in November. He won a seat for New York's 3rd congressional district.
Okay.
Which is a House seat covering a certain section of Long Island that is kind of blue. Joe Biden won the district by, I think, 8 points. So a comfortably Democratic area. Yeah. And this guy, George Santos, running as a Republican, got elected.
Oh.
And it turns out, recently, we found out, after his election, he's about to be inaugurated in a few days, that bro was lying about almost everything on his resume.
No way.
Almost everything.
Like what?
And before I get there,
okay.
Instead of just listing it off, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with it. But just to catch people up on it, in a New York Post interview, George Santos said, "quote My sins here are embellishing my resume. I'm sorry." And he's admitted to lying already, but he still plans to take office. He's not stepping down. He said, "I'm gonna govern based on what I promised," which is like inflation, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, like why would he step down?
Exactly.
Like that's the whole point of lying, to get the job.
Yeah,
and then you don't take the job. Come on now.
Exactly. He lied so that he could get the job, and he got the job. There's nothing that's gonna like get him to step down.
Yeah.
Right. But instead of just reading off these lies from George Santos, I want to play a little bit of a game called, is this something that George Santos actually claimed, or did Jeremy just make it up? And I'm going to read off some potential claims from George Santos and tell you if they're real or if I just made them up. All right?
All right.
This first one is, did George Santos claim that he was a, quote, well-seasoned Wall Street financier and investor at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup?
Oh, he did.
Yes, he did claim that.
I think I remember hearing something about him claiming that.
He did claim that, but it was later revealed that he never worked at either and was actually working customer service at the time he made the claim.
Come on now. Like, how was this not found out beforehand?
Yeah. No,
like,
that is...
You're running for literally a national House seat. A seat in the House of Representatives, and nobody decided to vet this guy beforehand. Nobody decided to look at anything going on with this race beforehand.
You didn't have like an extra $3,000 lying around to pay a couple interns to do Oppo research on this guy. Like just because all of this broke afterwards, right? And this broke from I think the New York Times. It wasn't even like the Democrats that found all of this out. And so it just shows you that they weren't spending any money on opposition research, or if they did, they were so completely incompetent that they couldn't unearth the complete smorgasbord of lies that this guy had hiding.
Cause what is it? Like, I'm sure that his race did not just like out of nowhere on election day like flip. I'm sure like the polls were looking pretty close.
I think he won pretty healthy, actually.
He won pretty healthy, but the polls,
good
like beforehand.
Oh, I don't know what
Like
the polls
I'm
were like.
sure the polls beforehand were saying, like telling a story like this is going to be a close race. I'm sure it didn't look like it was going to be a blowout for the Democrat because most races looked close this last year, 2023.
Right,
maybe.
exactly.
So how did no one think to look?
Right.
That is so easy to find out.
That's like the first thing you do, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like after you get your, the primary elections over, after you know who your opponent's going to be in the general election, you figure out what skeletons they have hiding in their closet. And this dude just made up everything about himself. Like, his entire persona was fake. Like, how could you not have figured that out?
Holy shit. All right, let's hit the next one.
Number 2. In 2021, did George Santos claim that 9/11 claimed his mother's life to later walk back the statement and say that she died a few years later after cancer that she gained from ash clouds during 9/11?
I don't think you'd have made that. I don't think that one would have came off dome.
Okay, yeah, he did actually say that. But it was later revealed that none of that happened, and she actually died in 2016.
No.
15 years later.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy because
Find the obituary.
you find the obituary. Find the obituary.
It's public.
Look this guy up on Facebook and watch his mom come up. Look this guy up on Facebook and watch family come up and have his mom be in the pictures. Like this is even worse than lying about your mom dying in 9/11 and then lying about her dying of cancer because of 9/11 is one thing, right? But it's so easily verifiable.
Yeah.
It's so easily verifiable.
I have an additional lie I'll give you for free. He also claimed that his mother was a financial executive working in the World Trade Center, but this was also a lie because no employment history suggests that this is true. There's no evidence that she ever worked as a financial executive. What? But he claimed that, of course.
Dude,
so
that's
no
nuts. He really. God, I hate that I'm bringing this up. You know that one Family Guy meme where it's like Lois running for, they're doing a fucking Family Guy bit like they always do, and it's like Lois giving a speech, and she just goes 9/11, and the crowd cheers. Yeah, and she just keeps saying 9/11,
especially
and
in
they
New
cheer.
York, right?
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Art, life imitates art. People.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3, did George Santos claim that he fought on Normandy Beach and in the Battle of Stalingrad, only to walk it back and say that he spiritually fought in these battles through his grandfather, but should still be considered a veteran?
No, that's not a lie. That's got to be true.
No, I made that one up.
Fuck, I was gonna say
that was all
like,
me.
It's just so out of pocket. It felt like a natural escalation.
That's what I'm saying. It's believable,
It felt
though, right?
like a natural escalation.
All right, number 4. Did Santos describe himself as a proud Jewish American in documents sent to pro-Israel groups and tell the story of his Jewish grandparents fleeing from the Holocaust several times?
I think yes.
Yeah, he did describe himself as a proud Jewish American, but he later walked back that statement and said he never claimed to be Jewish.
Actually, a proud American of German descent.
No, he said he later walked it back. He said he never claimed to be Jewish, only Jew-ish. He also didn't have Jewish grandparents, by the way. Jew-ish?
Yeah, guys.
What does that mean?
I'm kind of Jew-ish. I'm kind of like that of a Jew. No.
That's unacceptable.
No.
That is crazy. That's crazy. All right, next one. Did Santos claim to have a doctorate in business from Harvard?
No.
He did not claim to have a doctorate in business from Harvard, but he did claim to have an MBA from NYU, which he doesn't. The school exposed him and said, "We have no record of you ever attending here." After this stuff started to come out. You could have checked. You could have called and asked.
I swear to God, you literally could have.
All right, my last one.
Okay.
Did George Santos say he is openly gay, which would have made him the first openly gay Republican to win an election as a non-incumbent?
New York? Yeah.
Yeah,
he did say that.
He did say that he was openly gay, but the Daily Beast released a report detailing that he was married to a woman until 2019, right before he launched his first campaign in 2020 as an openly gay man. Now, look, you can be gay and still married to a woman and then get a divorce.
For sure.
But based on all these other lies,
this one,
I don't know.
Not as verifiable as the other one. However, it's believable to me that someone who thinks they can get away with lying about their mom dying in 9/11 and then lying about their mom dying from the ash from 9/11 would think like, oh yeah, dude, woke shit. That's what's in right now. I'm gonna say I'm gay to get all these woke votes.
Well, especially
but actually
in New
I'm
York,
not. Like
in a
I feel
bluish
like
district.
for someone who's willing to say all of these other things and clearly fucking. I don't even know if I can say stupid enough to say all these other things because like it works, right?
Right.
Right?
The game will pay it off, yeah.
As it keeps going, like he's got to be going and thinking, why not just throw this out there?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And if he is gay, hey, my bad.
Oh, no, yeah, if he is gay, whatever, you're still a liar. You lied about literally everything else.
Yeah, you lied about all that.
His first run was in 2020. I'm going to guess it would have been different districts because of redistricting. But I'm going to guess it was like a blue area as well, and he probably thought, if he's lying about this, they're like, oh, yeah, this will make me popular. It'll make me get support from the Republican Party because they desperately need people to think that the Republican Party isn't anti-gay. And the more blue liberal voters in the district will see me and think, oh, well, I should support a gay guy running for Congress.
Is he like a young guy?
Yeah, he's a youngish guy.
See, that's also what makes me think that, because really popular rhetoric, like Republican rhetoric, is that actually, those most marginalized in society, they don't say that. Those who fulfill the most identity tags and intersectionality and get the most oppression points are actually at the top of society.
Right.
So the more gay and black you are, the more perks you get, because you get all these social perks because nobody wants to offend you.
Right.
There are conservatives that genuinely think like that, and there are a lot of younger conservatives that genuinely think like that even harder. It's like what we say about why people like Madison Cawthorn are so dangerous, because they genuinely believe these things, right?
Right. Yeah.
I could totally see a world that exists where that's what's going on here.
I think this guy's in his like 30s or 40s, not as young as Madison Cawthorn, but by Republican standards, he's
Madison Cawthorn's not far removed from us, right?
He's like 25.
Yeah, he's a couple years older than we are.
Yeah, but this guy, lied about everything. Now he has a seat of power for the next 2 years, right?
Nice.
Like nothing's gonna happen to him. I have an extra for you though. One extra. Okay. Did he say that 4 employees at a company that he worked at died in the Pulse nightclub shooting?
Yes, he did. If he's talking about, he did.
He absolutely did. None of the deaths have been linked to him in any way. So I think he also just made that one up, which is great. I'll throw in an additional lie. He also said that he owned 13 properties. He doesn't own any. I think the article said that he's like living with his sister or something like that, which is something that John Fetterman got made fun of for, living with family. So it seems a little bit of hypocrisy.
That's crazy. He's doing the Trump thing. We'll get into that later when we talk about Trump's tax returns, though.
Okay. So yeah, George Santos, complete liar. Maybe one of my favorite Republicans now, though, because he is going to be in Congress, and there's been some news reports saying he might be investigated by the House committees that one of the House committees or whatever. But for just like lying, I guess, like because it's a form of like electioneering, I guess. But Republicans, one, don't care about that, and two, Kevin McCarthy, if he's going to be speaker, will need all of the votes he can get, and he can't afford to lose some. Prosecuting liars, because then he'd have to go after his whole party.
Exactly, and then he won't be speaker, just like he might not be speaker. Like Kevin McCarthy's in a precarious position.
Right, so that concludes our game called, is this something that George Santos actually said, or did Jeremy make it up? I think you won.
That's crazy.
I think you're the winner.
That's crazy. I thought there was going to be a thing like these are actually all crazy things you said, but you threw that one in there that really got me.
Yeah, well, I threw two. I had two lies. I had two lies on lies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly. But God, the World War II one really got me, because like with the other ones, I was like, maybe, you know what? I can see it. I can see him forgetting the dates of Normandy, forgetting that was like 80 fucking years ago, and saying that he fought there.
And then said, well, it's actually my grandpa.
And be like, no, I meant to say my granddad fought. And I fought, spiritually, I'm a veteran.
Right, exactly. See, it's in line. It's a perfect lie.
Exactly.
Maybe I could do this.
Let's run for office.
Yes. Now I got one more Beyond Parody section, and this one's about woke Santa Claus.
Nice.
This one is caught me off guard, I'll say.
Santa Claus coming and dropping blue hair dye under the tree.
Right. This story was sent to us by a mutual of ours, actually, on TikTok, Uncolorful Rose. She's great. Everyone go follow her on TikTok. I don't know if she watches the show, but if you are watching right now, Rose, thank you for sending this in.
Shout out.
You're great, and everyone should go follow her on TikTok. But this story, it takes us to Oklahoma.
Okay. Great state.
It's centered, one of the best. Nominee for the worst, actually, in our award show. This story in Oklahoma centers on Ryan Walters, who was previously the Secretary of Education for the state and is now the state superintendent following the 2022 election.
So it's
direct
crazy.
hand on education.
Secretary of Educations have such a bad rep with people like him and Betsy DeVos. Running around and being vile.
Yeah, and now I don't know fully what the separation and responsibilities is between Secretary of Education and Superintendent of the state.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess Superintendent has a lot more of a hand in like curriculum and stuff like that.
Oh,
like
sure.
devising specific curriculum, not necessarily like, the more administrative side of things, if that makes sense. But recently on December 22nd, our friend Ryan tweeted a photo of him with his family with Santa Claus. It was a Merry Christmas photo. And it was captioned, quote, "No woke Santa this year," with a smiley face. And of course, the Santa Claus was white. Pretty explicit what he's trying to do.
You don't.
And that's why it's beyond parody.
I have never seen a single person, even in the depths of Twitter, I've never seen a single person see like a white Santa and said something like, "Nah, we need to diversify this." Like,
Right.
there are obviously like your black Santas and everything, and those are fine. Like, there are your other Santas to cover some diversity,
Right.
and that's all fine. And there's no issue with any of that. But like, that stuff was born out of like, yeah, you know what? Let's represent some people a little bit more.
Right.
It wasn't born out of like vicious calls for like, oh, white Santa's out. White Santa is out.
Nobody, yeah, yeah, of course. The war on Christmas has never existed.
Yeah.
But this guy, Ryan Walters, he posted this photo. He got called out for it because it's clearly a racist remark.
Oh, absolutely. Clearly,
Like, what-
he's using woke as a substitute
It's-
for the N-word.
Yeah, it's it's pretty unambiguously like, woke equals black, right?
Yeah.
I think anyone that looks at that knows it. But instead of apologizing or instead of just ignoring it, he actually doubled down with a video. He recorded it. He posted this on Twitter.
Was he like crying in the video?
No.
No, okay,
No, he
okay.
just owned it. And he doubled down and he said, quote, "Leave it to the left to take a tweet about Santa wishing Merry Christmas and inject racial overtones. This is Joe Biden's America. Declare war on everyone, declare war on nativity scenes, declare war on Christmas. It's ridiculous, and I'm wishing even the most radical leftist out there a Merry Christmas." No. That's what he said.
on,
That's
bruh.
fucking crazy. That's crazy. He said the
on.
left is injecting racial overtones, brother. You took a picture with a white Santa and said no woke Santa. What does woke mean?
It wasn't even a dog whistle. It was a megahorn.
He was just saying
Bro,
black.
screaming it through the megahorn. That's nuts.
He then, Ryan Walters then sent a text to the Oklahoman Times, and he said, "It never surprises me that the left finds a way to take everything out of context. The assault on Christmas lives on today, and I just appreciate a Santa that still says Merry Christmas." What are we taking out of context?
Conservatives,
Fully in context here.
Conservatives cannot help themselves from, I don't know, not understanding language. They are the most well technically motherfuckers that I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I have ever seen. Well, technically, I didn't say anything wrong here.
Yeah.
I just don't want to woke Santa. You're the one that's making the interpretation that's that. Therefore, you're the one who's actually being the racist one.
Right.
It's like when they say, actually, you're the liberals. You're the one telling African black people that they can't do anything.
Right, exactly.
You're the one telling them that life is going to be harder. So you're actually the racist one. I'm
It's
the
your
one that
fault.
wants them to just get a regular job.
And see, there's not much analysis to offer here, right? Pretty explicit
Yeah.
what he means by this. There's not like much of an analysis or a breakdown that we can go through for what he means or any of his arguments or anything like that. Like, it's just he doesn't want black Santa. Or I guess maybe he doesn't want gay Santa or something like that. Like, maybe you could
so
step in another
true.
term.
It could also be gay Santa.
But I want all of you to notice just for a second, I want to highlight how cowardly he is here. Because he clearly means something else by woke, right?
Absolutely.
Like, woke is meant to be a euphemism for something else. I'm going to assume it's race because, like, usually black Santa is the thing that they get mad about. But it could literally be anything else that they're fear-mongering about, whether it's trans people or gay people or, insert whatever marginalized group that they don't like today. But it's very clearly he's using a euphemism to hide his overtly racist beliefs. And I just think it's crazy how this is always the group talking about censorship, talking about how they should be able to share their conservative ideas, but then they engage in self-censorship to hide their actual ideas, and they won't ever actually admit that what they mean is they just don't want to be around, X marginalized group, or they don't want to be around black people or gay people, because they're cowards, right? They won't ever admit their actual beliefs because they're afraid that they're going to, get canceled or that they can't, defend them. And it's like, if you can't defend your belief, you shouldn't hold it.
Real. Oh my goodness, real.
Yeah.
No, it's just so fucking ridiculous. Just throwing a quick jab out there and then playing the victim. Cry bullying.
Yeah.
He's cry bullying.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's beyond parody because who says that? Like, that's great. Like, you don't have to post that, dog.
I've never heard woke Santa before.
Yeah.
That one is nuts. And just like side note on conservatives actually into you being the actual racist one, there was somebody who commented something on our TikTok recently. I can't remember which TikTok, but it felt pretty out of the ordinary for even the context of what we were talking about in the TikTok. He just goes, well, actually, nothing ever happened to black people. Look at a map of Chicago and how they self-segregate.
Oh, I remember.
My brother in Christ. My brother in Christ. There's a whole bout of recent history there you are fucking ignoring. What do you mean self-segregate?
Look! All of the black people living in Chicago just decided to live on the other side of this highway. Don't you see that they chose to do this?
They just want to be around each other. That's why no one ever makes it out.
Well, it's like we have these very nice neighborhoods with very big houses. Why don't they just move in?
You have to be so willfully ignorant to have that take. It's astounding.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I don't know if this is true, but I think I've heard the take that like America is just about as segregated as it used to be in terms of where people live, because obviously wealth is very segregated based on race in this country, right? Like black people have access to much less wealth than white people do on average, and so they can't get into certain areas because they can't afford it.
It's just not as explicitly segregated.
Exactly.
Like, we don't have colored drinking fountains anymore.
Exactly. We don't have laws that specifically say like black people can't live here.
Yeah.
We don't, as far as we know, have banks that are saying like I won't give out loans for black people to live in certain areas, but it still has the same effect because they can't afford to live in certain areas, which means they stay segregated.
Exactly.
And that's not because they're choosing to, it's because of the environmental factors that prevent them from doing so, which is a crazy out-of-pocket take. And it's just, again, another euphemism for saying like, well, they're not working hard enough or something, or like they're weaker somehow,
or it's
their fault.
It's their fault. Yeah. They're doing it to themselves.
Yeah. And at this point, I feel like terms like woke have just become a slur.
Yeah.
Like it's similar to like cabal, right? Like when people say woke, when people say cabal, we're starting to learn like we know what you're talking about.
It's a pretty heavy dog whistle.
Yeah.
It's a pretty heavy dog whistle.
And like they don't use it for this as much, but I'm still convinced that woke is just a stand-in for Jewish. Yeah. Like that's what it's got to be. Like eventually I think it boils down to that.
It's kind of like how all conspiracy theories eventually just lead back to anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a way.
Like I know that woke is used for a plethora of things. It's a flexible slur, if you will.
Oh yeah.
It's used,
catch all.
Right. It's used to be it's used as like a derogatory against trans people especially, or gay people, or etc. But I'm convinced that eventually it just goes back to like Jewish. Right, like woke corporation, Jewish corporation, right? They're pushing the progressive liberal ideology of, I don't know, transing kids, whatever they want to say. But I'm pretty confident that eventually it's just gonna go back to it's the Jews.
Well, because it's like to like follow a line, it's like, oh, it's the woke liberal elite that are pushing these ideas onto our kids. And then you follow that further back and it's like, what are the woke liberal elite? What are the woke liberal elite doing? Oh, they're going and fucking sucking baby dicks to stay young forever.
Yeah.
Oh, they're actually the cabal that runs the world too behind that. What's the cabal?
And then eventually they say like, oh, well, it's all synagogues that are doing blood libel. And if you don't want to die, then you need to stop doing blood libel, even though it's not happening.
Exactly.
And then suddenly violence against Jewish people is authorized, as well as every other marginalized group.
This guy gets it.
I understand.
This guy gets it.
So that closes out our little section on Woke Santa.
Speaking of another slur, my favorite billionaire, Jay-Z, once said in a Twitter space that capitalist is a slur.
Yeah, true.
I agree. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite capitalists now. For the last story to round out the first episode of 2023, the Trump tax returns.
That's right.
So I don't really even know how to preface this because I was kind of dumbfounded by how mid this story really was.
It didn't get much attention.
Not much attention at all. And I mean, like, to be fair, it doesn't deserve that much of attention.
Okay.
I can run through some quick highlights here. Overall, very mid. It's nothing that we didn't already know.
Yeah.
Which, although what we knew was speculation, it was very educated speculation,
right?
Based on what other rich people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. One of my favorite things that I saw when I was reading through this stuff is, as is the case for most rich people, the IRS was massively under-equipped to deal with like Trump's shenanigans.
Nice.
And so there was one guy There was one guy whose whole entire job was to just examine all of Trump's tax returns. And he was the only person tasked with examining Trump's tax returns.
One guy for
guy was charged
billions?
With all of the returns, with all of the write-offs and all of everything, all of the money. That was one guy's
I guess
job.
You know why it's taking so long.
Oh, yeah. We know why it's taking so long to go through all of his audits, which this isn't new news. This is old news, but I didn't know about it till today when I was reading about all the IRS stuff. Apparently, Trump has a plethora of audits out, and he has one audit from, I think 2009.
Okay.
Like over a decade ago, where he received a tax refund of $73 million.
Seems just.
That's under investigation right now.
Okay.
For pretty obvious reasons. But like there's one guy looking at the returns trying to like figure this out. One guy
dude doing an investigation.
One guy.
Yeah, no wonder Joe Biden wants some funding for the IRS. Goddamn.
Yeah, no wonder they want to double the amount of agents or whatever they did. You know, Joe Brandon's Dark Army.
Maybe this guy could get a partner to work on the tax returns.
The Dark Army is understaffed. You could double this from 1 to 2 and it still would not get done in a timely fashion.
Joe Biden's shadow army is going to prosecute Donald Trump. That's right.
God, so that was good. That was rich. The details I got from that one. That's funny. And then other than that, we really just got details about how he's not as rich as he says he is, and his businesses are not doing as well as he says they are, reporting massive personal and business losses and carrying those losses forward to curb tax liability. His income and tax bills, I can read those off for you guys if that's interesting.
Go for it.
We'll go for it. We'll go through this from a Washington Post article. So there's going to be 4 numbers here for each year. We've got adjusted gross income, tax based on income, and AMT, which is adjusted minimum tax, which is a law that only applies to the 200,000 richest people like in the country. Only applies to about 200,000 people. So this is never a law that any of you are ever going to have to worry about.
You know, capitalists are the most oppressed minority.
Exactly. So
actually second to podcasters.
Real. So we should up this.
Yes,
we should up
absolutely.
This. As you'll see here, we should up this because Trump is a billionaire, mind you. And you'll see from his yearly incomes kind of why, actually, you won't see because he's not doing as well as he said he is. Again, we'll get into it. So for 2015, his adjusted gross income was negative $31 million.
Okay.
Negative $31 million.
Negative?
Yeah.
He lost
$31 million in 2015.
Nice.
He's not doing well.
Okay, nice.
He is not doing well. Tax based on income and AMT, his tax bill would be $2 million. Final tax bill after credits was $641,000. Total income, still negative $31 million. In 2016, his adjusted gross income was negative $32 million. AMT, $2 million. That's his tax bill. He only paid $750 of that tax bill.
Nice.
That's all he ended up having to pay. So that's fucking crazy. That's great. That's good. 2017 adjusted gross income negative $12 million. Bill after AMT $7 million. Paid $750 in income tax.
Oh, nice. That's where the $750 number came from during the 2020 election. Then.
Yeah, that's what was going on with that. In 2018, he made $24 million, but only paid $1 million in income tax.
Oh, wow. Fun.
$24 million, but paid $1 million in income tax. I can't do the percent off my head, but break that down.
Like 20%.
That's not a lot. That's less than what regular people pay.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Not even anywhere near what he should be paying.
Off of 24 millions.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Well, would it be based off like the top tax bracket back then, which was probably like, 32 or some shit like that?
Wasn't it? It was higher back then, wasn't it?
I thought, no, it got raised recently when Joe Manchin agreed to 36, and then we were like, this sucks.
True.
Yeah, so it's still not enough.
It's still not enough, but still 20% is definitely low because I don't know if it ever dropped to like 28.
Yeah.
Which 1 million. The math's not mathing.
1 out of 20. Yeah, math's not.
I could just do it right now. Hold on. Let's do some quick maths. Quick maths. 1 divided by 25. We'll get a rough number.
I was wrong. Definitely
4%.
Yeah, 4%. That sounds right.
I was very 4% tax
For those of you that fact checked us live, we got there. Okay.
Exactly. Come on now.
I was dividing the numbers wrong in my head. And we're there now.
In 2018, he paid a 4% tax rate on $24 million worth of income.
Average leftist not knowing how to do math.
That's crazy. And again, like losses carry forward.
We're leaving it in.
You know what I mean? 2019 adjusted gross income $4 million. Final tax bill after credits $133,000. In 2020, the final year that was released, the adjusted gross income was negative $4.7 million, and he paid $0 in taxes.
Nice.
And keep in mind, with billionaires, their income, like their gross income, all this stuff is not the money that they make.
Yeah.
This is not the money that they're spending. It's not like Donald Trump didn't spend the money. He's taking out loans on his businesses. He's taking out equity on his businesses.
Credit, yeah.
He's using all of his lines of credit and other crazy things to live the lavish lifestyle that he does. But like, that's the biggest thing that came out of this is like, oh my goodness, he's not doing as well as he said he is.
And he's not paying enough taxes.
Everyone knew this. Yeah, and he's not paying enough taxes. That 4% tax rate is actually baffling though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because like, wow.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's what we already expected, so I don't think that anyone's really going to care. It might be some things that Democrats say, like, as we move towards primary season and then election season in the next year, 2024, but I don't think people are really going to care. Because I think that's what they expect out of just about every rich person.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, he's just like everyone else.
Because, like, yeah, it's a good talking point to say that Trump pays less taxes than you do.
Yeah.
Like, less of a percent of taxes than you do. But it's like, I don't know. At this point, I feel like it's not like worth it to go through all this trouble because the GOP is going to get so much ammunition from this.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but in the bottom of the Politico article that I read earlier, Representative Kevin Brady, the top Republican on the Ways and Means Committee, said, quote, Democrats have charged forward with an unprecedented decision to unleash a dangerous new political weapon that reaches far beyond the former president, overturning decades of privacy protections for average Americans that have existed since Watergate.
Average Americans.
No. Your tax returns will never be released like this. One, this only happened because it's precedent for presidents to release their tax returns. Like, this is something that usually happens. It's tradition. Everyone has done it forever. Yeah. It's also precedent that the president of the United States, the sitting president, is given a higher level of scrutiny when it comes to their audits, and all of their returns are audited every year.
Right.
That didn't happen under Trump. He refused to do that. So he's dodging these tax, like, not liabilities, these tax obligations that come with the presidency, like, all the time. But what, like, sours me on all this is that nobody fucking cares about taxes. So boring to talk about.
Which is sad because it's like it's similar to democracy almost. It is one of the most important issues that we face.
Yeah.
Billionaires just getting away with not paying what they're supposed to. Billionaires being able to skirt around laws because they can just use their immense wealth to hide their immense wealth.
Yeah.
And yeah, nobody's really going to care about it because one, it's expected.
Yeah.
Two, Trump still has a massive following of people that don't really care what he does. They're going to support him no matter what.
Absolutely.
And three, I don't trust the Democrats to weaponize this in any way that's going to be competent or efficient.
No,
so
never.
it's just not really going to make a difference. And we already knew that Trump was a fucking criminal and that it was fraud up and down all the way. And it's I don't think it'll make a difference.
Other notable things in these documents are that he aggressively writes off literally anything that he can. That's kind of how just billionaires get everything done anyway, because they're tax returns are so voluminous, their write-offs are so voluminous that they can really just squeeze in these little write-offs that are never going to get audited out when there's one guy that's investigating it.
That's how I'm trying to be, for real.
That's how I'm trying to get the podcast. But anyway, like, because of these things, we know that he's going to write off everything that he can. There's evidence to suggest that he actually didn't donate his $400,000 presidential salary like he bragged about every year because there was no write-off for it.
Right.
He never writ it off. So he just didn't.
That's crazy. I guess we'll see what happens with this, although I feel like because one, it was an end of the year story, and two, because no one's going to care, it's not going to change anything.
Absolutely not.
I don't think we'll really even hear about this again. Maybe it'll be a part, if Trump gets the nomination for 2024, maybe it'll just be a part of like a stump speech. One little bullet point.
If Trump gets the nomination for 2024, I do think that it would come back. I think they're going to repeat the same mistakes that they did last time.
Classic Democratic Party.
Classic Democratic Party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
So that's fun. Other than that, I can't think of any of the other things that like were notable based on what Trump did, except for this one little, I guess, tax loophole that I learned about because he's doing it.
Oh, nice.
Basically, in his tax returns are interest payments from all of his kids. And you're like, interest payments for what? Basically, Trump is giving his kids a shit ton of money, but past a certain amount of money, that money, it's all subject to taxes. Like huge gifts, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, that money is subject to taxes.
Right.
Can't get away from it unless you're rich and you're giving it to your kids as loans, having them pay interest on those loans and then forgiving the principal later. And that's what he's doing.
Nice.
Like there's just that. So there's a cool tax loophole if you want to do that.
Yeah, and it's that. Yeah, if any of you listeners want to do that for us,
have enough money to give us a loan like that.
But there's also just all the like the non-loaning ways that Trump has given his kids money, like actual positions on his staff in the White House,
hiring them as consultants to consult for what?
Yeah, and I know he fast-tracked some patents in China for Ivanka, which is just like directly.
Dope.
I mean, seems like something that Republicans would get very mad about if Hunter Biden did it somehow. But they don't really care about that because, as one journalist said, 2023 is the year of the Nepo baby. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, that's some story that I was going to put in here, but I didn't think it was significant enough. But anyway, nepotism. That's all it is.
Shout out nepotism.
All the way up and down, yeah. It's a fun time.
I wish I could get it like that.
Yeah, why don't we have some family member in podcasting that can like hook us up?
Yeah, for real. Why don't we have some family member in like, I don't know, cooking media? That's the only one I can think that can just get us a contract, get me money.
Oh yeah, like boatloads.
Buku bucks.
So many.
Oh.
But I think we can end off on looking ahead to 2023.
Word.
And off on a little section looking ahead. I don't have much here, just a couple of things. As I mentioned before, all of the new House people are about to be inaugurated, I think, before this episode airs. So we're going to see, I think it's the 3rd. I could be wrong, though.
I kept thinking it was the 21st, but that's the president.
Yeah, that would be president, but we don't have a president to inaugurate this time. So I think pretty soon they're going to be inaugurated, and we'll see if Kevin McCarthy is able to hang out to power for the speakership.
That'll be fun.
We'll see pretty shortly if he's able to do that. We have a whole section dedicated on that in a prior episode that you can look at if you want to. This year, we're also going to get tons of very important, potentially disastrous SCOTUS decisions.
Ooh.
We'll get stuff on Moore v. Harper. We'll have a decision this year, and we'll also get some decisions on if you are legally allowed to discriminate against people.
That's
protected
the
by the state.
News.
Yeah.
That's the big news we're looking forward to this year. That's going to be a good one.
But I think the news I'm most anticipating for me is presidential announcements.
Oh,
because
that'll be fun.
In this year, at some point, maybe towards the end, we're going to start getting announcements for the Republican primary for 2024.
Yeah. And
we'll also start seeing debates for the presidential primary in this year.
Oh, true, because announcements are going to have to come in like the summer so that there's time for debates to happen at the end, so that there's time for the primary to happen in like
Super Tuesday and all that. And it's going to start in January. January 2024.
So announcements are going to have to come relatively soon.
Yeah, and also other news on primaries in general. The Democratic primary, I believe, is like switching up the order of states that they do.
I saw that. Why does that matter?
They wanted to start with a state that's more representative of the country because Iowa is not. And also the Iowa caucuses were a complete mess in 2022.
Okay.
So I think they're completely doing away with caucuses, which is whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Like, I was just confused because does the order really matter?
They want to start off with a state that will, again, be more reflective of the country in terms of like demographics and population, so that, I don't know, they may produce a candidate that can appeal to more of the country than they can just like in Iowa, for example. Because like Pete Buttigieg did really well in Iowa. Don't think he would do well nationally. I remember he got asked specifically on the debate stage after South Carolina, why don't black people like you? Because he didn't get really any black vote at all. So Democrats want to change it so that they can get candidates that can appeal to a wide variety of people and not just win off of early popularity, which is fine.
Imagine getting asked that. Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say to why don't black people like you?
Well, he said, I think black voters do like me or something like that, which is like.
Other than that, okay, whatever. What do you say?
I don't think there is a response.
Oh, God. I'd be so stunned if I was on a debate stage, cameras glaring at me, lights glaring at me. I'm hot, I'm sweaty. And someone asked me that. I was like,
Yeah. But apparently, Michigan's getting moved up in the order. Michigan might be one of the first 4, I think. So that might be fun.
Let's get press passes.
Yeah, that would be cool. Walk around and watch people as they write in their ballot.
In the office.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Republicans are considering changing the order though, because they probably don't care about race.
the only thing I had seen about the order is just people bitching about Iowa not being first, and I thought it was just because like a tradition.
Yeah, no, probably. Yeah, I don't really care though. Michigan should be first, to be honest.
Honestly,
Michigan's the best state in the nation.
Michigan should be first. I should get a press pass to every event.
Yeah. We're also going to, I guess beginning next year, we're going to find out who the primary nominee will be, but we'll get a whole list of who's going to be there. Obviously, DeSantis is like a big contender for being on the primary ballot, but, maybe a Ted Cruz, maybe a Mike Pompeo, maybe a John Bolton will be on the ballot. Maybe I don't know.
Michael Flynn.
Are any of the Bushes
Fuck around.
Yeah. Are any of the Bushes still alive? Kanye West, maybe he'll run as a
Kanye
Republican.
West.
That could be exciting.
Isn't there a Bush? Isn't there? Doesn't
Jeb
Yeah.
Jeb Bush. I don't know if he's still doing anything of note, but who knows? Maybe he could run
Hillary
again
Clinton.
as well. As a Republican. Yet Liz Cheney, maybe.
Liz Cheney.
That could be exciting. So
she knows she won't win.
we'll find out who's running in the Republican primary. Maybe if Joe Biden dies by the time there's a Democratic primary, we'll have a new contender.
That'd be
But pretty exciting stuff. That's my most anticipated event. Just saying.
That would be crazy.
Looking forward to it.
I hope we don't get any Mayor Pete's up there again.
I don't know, man. He's a young guy in politics. He got a job in the White House. He could run.
Young buck.
Mm-hmm. But I think that brings us to the end of this beautiful episode of Head in the Office. First episode of the year.
People that I think should run.
Yeah, there's not a big list, but a list of people that I think should run. People that have supported us and therefore deserve every amount of praise they could receive and every amount of power available.
Some quid quo pro operations.
Yeah.
Support the Patreon. I will chill for your election.
Oh yeah.
You support the Patreon. You DM us a link of you. I don't know, running for whatever race. No matter who I'll be out there.
Doesn't matter what you believe.
It doesn't matter. I won't look at any of your positions just to be safe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But to end out this episode, as always, we got to give a special thanks to our patrons, the people that make this show possible. So special thanks to Cricket Scrapbook Layouts, Nikki Line Lives, Caden Kraut, Lord T, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Talia Katz, 40% Spite, Andrew Harris, Mike Chaplinsky, Matty S.T., The B-Plot, Omar Zuno, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Sarah McRoberts, Derek Messina, Dylan B, Kaz, Caleb Joy, Jim Bobs, Carl D, Rich Toro, Tari, Gavin Meyer Maldonado, Hunter W, Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colt Newberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Jeff Muzzy, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Bagel Burrito, Cincy Alex, Bread, Joe Stenstrom, Austin Reed, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Judah Marshall, Colleen Cutts, John Barr, and my mom. Thank you all for supporting the show on Patreon. Woo! We couldn't do it without you, and I'm looking forward to an auspicious new year, an auspicious 2023.
Big words.
Exactly.
New Year's resolution: expand my vocabulary in 2023.
Well, all my New Year's resolutions are based on expansion. Okay. Expand my vocabulary. Expand my fucking bag.
Expand my fucking harem.
Expand my triceps.
Oh, yeah. Expand the quads.
And expand our influence into new markets.
I like it.
What can I say?
Expand our influence into new markets. Increase corporate synergy. What are the other buzzwords?
You know, I did get a MBA from NYU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unlike George Santos.
My mom did die in 9/11.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a good one.